expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud-Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to another segment of Steer Line. I am your host and statistical analysis expert, Christian Giordani. To the right of me is Loud-Esmond, our professional sports handicapper. Below us is Rocky Giordani, our ex-professional athlete. And missing today is Jeremy James, our fantasy football guru, who unfortunately couldn't make it, but today we will hold on our own. Fun fact I want to start it off with today. I know we're done talking about the Super Bowl, but one last thing. The streaker who was there last week, or 2 weeks ago, my apologies, was a Las Vegas local who placed $50,000 on a prop bet that there would be a streaker. He ran on the field himself and cashed out with $374,000
no way.
and a $1,000 fine with a ban from Allegiant Stadium.
No. They honored the bet, and
They have to.
As far as I know, yes, $374,000.
Wow, that is going to change all the rules at all the sports books and all the casinos.
He paid a $1,000 fine and a $10,000 bail and an alignment and a ban from Alignment Stadium, all and other NFL properties.
So here's the question: who would run naked through a stadium with 80,000 people on it on national television for $300,000? This guy.
Yeah.
Actually, he all he did was pull his pants down over his butt crack a little bit.
Yeah, he was wearing
a girl's shirt and sweatpants. He pulled his pants down a little bit over his butt. He wasn't really a streaker, but I guess it counted as a streaker.
He was wearing an overhead shoulder thong, whatever that's called. So he wasn't really a streaker. So he can't be filed for public indecency.
Well, after a night of too much Jägermeister when I was in my early 20s, I was in Tahoe with some friends, and we were at this lakefront bar and restaurant, and they dared me and my friend Eric to jump naked into the lake, which was right there off the restaurant, and there was about $1,000 on the table because everybody started throwing money out. Hell so
yeah.
You know what I did.
We've all been skin dipping once.
Full restaurant. My favorite line is when I stepped out back onto the deck completely naked and faced the restaurant and said, "Hey, could somebody get me a towel?"
While our viewers house the image of Loud-Esmond naked, let's jump right into it.
I was
NFL draft.
Better looking when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah. That took my mind out the Super Bowl right there. Loud-Esmond naked jumping off a balcony into a lake.
Let's jump into the draft. And the first question I want to ask you, fellas, me and Rocky have discussed this intensely for the past hour before the show. The number one overall pick belongs to Chicago Bears, and Caleb Williams is the destined number one overall pick. Should Chicago trade down to Washington for the King's ransom they're willing to give them for the number 2 overall pick? Should they look for other destinations, or should they just go ahead and draft Caleb Williams, who has been publicly known to not want to go to Chicago? Loud, your opinions on this?
Well, I don't care if it's Caleb Williams, Drake May, or whoever it is. If the Chicago Bears brain trust believes they have their guy who is going to be their franchise quarterback for years to come, then go ahead and do it, because the NFL has skewed the value of young quarterbacks so much, because you get look what San Francisco is doing because they have Brock Purdy on a rookie deal. You're going to get Caleb Williams or whoever you want for 4 years for less than $1 million a year for the first 3 years.
Oh, no, that's a little bit differently. Caleb Williams, Drake May will get paid close to around $10 million a year.
Oh, okay. $10 million a year is less than $55 million, $40 million, $35
significantly,
million.
yeah.
Right.
They would be in the range of 17th highest paid quarterback in the league, right around there.
Right. Okay. So, but it's still so much less than they would have to pay to extend Justin Fields. And he's going to be looking for a long-term contract, not a one-year show-me deal. So the economics is pushing Justin Fields out the door. And new coach, turn a new leaf. I think they pull the trigger and get their quarterback of the future.
Rocky?
Okay. Now, Christian is going to argue this point, but he's the only one that will, because he's arguing it from the financial standpoint. And it's true that financially, it's a boneheaded move to keep Justin Fields and pay him and draft the quarterback. Listen, if you're the general manager there, you need to be thinking about your job, not how much money you're going to spend on this draft. You need to get into the playoffs, and need to make a deep run. You need to make a showing that you are a good general manager. I'm telling you, the Chicago Bears are going to take Caleb Williams. $100 in my left nut says they take Caleb Williams. And I'm thinking Justin Fields ends up in Atlanta, somewhere where he fits in the program. He can be a good quarterback in a different type of program. Now, I know, Christian, you give me all those numbers, and I agree. It's going to be expensive. But you look at what these general managers and presidents are paying players now that haven't panned out at all. They need to make a show. If you want to keep your job as a GM, you got to do something.
So I have what I think is an interesting question. And Christian, you're the salary cap and numbers guy.
Yes, sir.
How much are you going to have to pay Justin Fields next year?
So Justin Fields' fifth-year option would be close from a range to $17.5 to $20 million.
So if you wanted to bring him in for 1 year and he was willing, but that means he has to be willing to do a 1 year deal, right?
Well, no, he's
fifth year.
It's a fifth-year option that the team can pick up. He has no say in it whatsoever. It's not a restricted free agency. It's you're coming back on this deal.
So you can have Justin Fields for $17.5 million. You can have Russell Wilson for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, Russell Wilson,
Literally.
Yeah. Russell Wilson has ties to Pittsburgh, which we can get into later. With that contract.
The panel here. Do you pay $17.5 million for Justin Fields, or do you take, if you're a quarterback needy team that is in transition, and there's probably about a third of the league that fits into that picture, do you take Russell Wilson and let Denver pay him, or do you take Justin Fields and pay him $17.5 million?
Are we still talking about the Bears?
No.
We're talking about anybody.
Okay.
Any quarterback needy team.
Okay.
And it's going to be for 1 year, because there's no guarantee Justin Fields signs with whoever he goes to past next year. And the same is true of Russell Wilson. So for me, I'm going to take Russell Wilson. If I'm a team that is not anywhere near competitive, I'm going to make a deep run in the playoffs. I'm going to take Russell Wilson for nothing above Justin Fields for $17.5 million.
And here's why I think he goes to Atlanta. Atlanta has a coach that comes from the Sean McVay tree.
Who goes to Atlanta?
Justin Fields. And here's why. If Justin Fields, if they let him get under center and they go run first, which they will in Atlanta this year, run first, play action pass, Justin Fields, move the pocket like they do in LA, Justin Fields could be a very effective quarterback. I think $17 million, between $14 and $17 million for Justin Fields for Atlanta Falcons right now is a good bet. It's a great price to pay because they've got no one. And we know Chicago doesn't want him because they thought about getting rid of him last year. Now they're talking about getting rid of him this year. Look, if you're not comfortable with your guy, if you're not positive he's your franchise quarterback, you got to go out and get one. And this is the last point, the most important point. None of these teams can expect to ever pick this high in the draft again. When will the New England Patriots ever get a top 3 pick ever again? Probably never again. They better come out of this with a quarterback, and I think Drake May ends up in New England. I don't think
Whoa. You don't believe in Mac Jones?
Oh, he was a victim of the system there too.
Mac Jones got
screwed. He got screwed. He was abused. They put in special teams.
If Mac Jones, I got a question. If Mac Jones was in San Francisco, would he be Brock Purdy or would he be Zach Wilson?
He would do a much better job.
No, hang on. Listen, hear me out. If Mac Jones, who won a national championship with Alabama, playing within a system
Right.
surrounded by great players, which is what Brock Purdy is doing.
Right.
Would Mac Jones be Zach Wilson in San Francisco, or would he be Brock Purdy?
He would be somewhere in the middle, closer to the Brock Purdy side, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and that's all you can say because we never seen. He never had a chance. His first year rookie,
He was a Pro Bowler.
They sent him to a Pro Bowl. Then they get rid of the play call and they bring in a special teams coach to call the plays. Then the next year they bring in Matt Patricia, who's a defensive coordinator, to call the offensive plays. This kid never had a chance in that system. Never had a chance. Bill Belichick, go back to Boston College. Yeah, Mac Jones needs to go to a team where they will give him a chance with a good play caller, and he might be a much better quarterback. But he got hosed. He got screwed.
He did get hosed. Okay, so going in, I say Chicago will trade that pick down to Washington for the swap for the number 2 because I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback in the future.
Well, I agree with that.
Yes, and I think Chicago agrees with that as well because Caleb Williams has publicly expressed he does not want to go to Chicago. His father, who's also his agent, said he would not go. If Caleb Williams really does not want to play, he is eligible to go back to college as a 4th-year.
Yeah,
senior.
but he's gonna make a couple $1 million a year. Not
Well. He's still one of the highest earning NIL athletes in the world right now. It would be very similar to what he'll get paid in the NFL.
No,
and you're
first round overall.
First
round overall.
$9 million compared to $7.5.
Right, but Christian, you're only talking about the salary he's going to make in the NFL. He's also going to have endorsements in the NFL.
Yes.
So that's not the only money he's going to make.
No, of course not. But Chicago, I think, would have a better chance in the future trading that number 1 pick for the number 2 pick and another pick compensation.
What is the rumor that Washington has offered to move up to number 1?
The offer is said to be a king's ransom containing the number 2 overall pick in this draft, including 2 future firsts and 2 future seconds.
Oh, for God's sake!
For a pick swap, I would
down one. If the Commanders' new ownership group is dumb enough to do a Russell Wilson or what was Mike Ditka,
Trey Lance,
right? Or Mike Ditka. Remember, Mike Ditka traded his entire draft for Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams, yeah.
Right? The famous Super Bowl cover where Ricky Williams was in a dress.
Yeah.
And marrying. Okay. So, disturbing photo, by the way. One of the worst covers I've ever seen on a magazine. If I'm Chicago, I don't think Caleb Williams quit on the USC Trojans. Yeah. Sorry. Did I just say the quiet part out loud?
No, that's a fact.
Okay. So I don't want that guy anywhere near my franchise. Sorry. I would take Derek Carr.
Oh my God. Here we go.
I didn't put the timer on, man.
There it is.
16 minutes. 14 seconds. 16 minutes and 14 seconds.
Drake, okay.
That's right. So go get Derek Carr, baby. He's available.
Me and Loud agree that this trade is a better option for Chicago. Let's move on from it. Number 2, Washington. Let's say this trade never happens. Who do you think Washington will take, Rocky?
Daniels. I don't think they go for Drake May, which is a mistake. I think Drake May is the best quarterback in the draft. But I'm not a GM, so.
Loud?
If Chicago moves to number 2, Drake May.
In my opinion, if Chicago moved to number 2, it would be Marvin Harrison. But this is a scenario where
they're going to keep Justin Fields, but we don't agree that they're going to keep Justin Fields.
No. I'll explain my logic very quickly, very rapidly, so we can move on. Chicago would trade that number 1 for the 2, take Marvin Harrison with the 2nd pick, down to the 9th pick they have. JJ McCarthy is in range from 8 to 10. If JJ McCarthy's still on the board, I'm taking him. If not, I'm going all the way to the 2nd round to get Bo Nix. I think these are the 2 best quarterbacks in the draft.
If Atlanta will take it. Atlanta will take McCarthy if he's still there in the 8th pick. Atlanta will take him.
Unless Chicago trades Fields to Atlanta, they have the right there.
Hold on, everybody.
There you go.
Wait. Okay, so here's what's fascinating to me. Let's name for me the top 5 quarterbacks in this draft, in your opinion, Christian.
The top 5 quarterbacks, in my opinion, also in the NFL's opinion right here, is Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix.
Yeah, but not in that order.
That's what I'm asking, is what order would you put them in?
And in my order, I think it's J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix.
J.J. McCarthy, number 1?
Yes, I think everyone has been underrating this kid, and all he's done is won.
Yeah, I love him. McCarthy, May, and then maybe you can whatever with the other 3.
Yeah, McCarthy, May, I think maybe Williams, then McDaniels. And Nix, I'm sorry, I'll take Nix over McDaniels and Williams.
Yeah, I like him too. Number 3.
Okay, so Bo Nix folds up in every pressure situation.
Yeah.
He has never won a game that matters. Caleb Williams is a coward, and I don't want him in my foxhole.
He's a diva.
Yeah.
Yes.
JD Daniels, he's Lamar Jackson with worse accuracy. Bo Nix. Oh, we already talked about Bo Nix.
Drake
can't
Drake
win
May.
the situation. JJ McCarthy, he's too small.
He's 6'3", same size as Patrick Mahomes.
I understand, but he is not. He doesn't have a rocket of an arm. He is a system quarterback at Michigan. I'm just not sold on him.
This is my thing. He is probably the most intelligent, football intelligent-wise quarterback in this draft.
So if he goes to a perfect situation, like a Brock Purdy-like situation, I agree he'd be great. But all these guys are going to go to teams that suck. You don't get picked first, second, or third, or fourth, or fifth in the draft and go to a good situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying with the Chicago narrative. If Chicago trades Fields to Atlanta, they don't need to take up J.J. McCarthy. You have Marvin Harrison right there. You have DJ Moore. You're building your offensive line in this draft. You have J.J. McCarthy with the 9th pick. That's a solid team for him to have to build around for a decade plus, in my opinion.
3-4 years.
You know who we're not talking about at all, who is a great freaking quarterback, who's going to be available probably deep in the 2nd round? Michael Penix Jr.
Michael Penix. I'm not sold on Michael Penix Jr.
Okay, so I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I've watched every game he played at Washington. I have never seen anybody that can deliver a ball faster from point A to point B than Dan Marino and Michael Penix Jr. That's who he's left-handed. Rocky, you ever see somebody that it seems like they defy physics? You know how Gretzky seemed to just be somehow like time warping ahead of everybody? Michael Jordan could hang in the air forever. Michael Penix could throw a 60-yard pass on a frozen rope in the rain, uphill while juggling. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I've been watching football since Christian wasn't born yet, or even a twinkle in your eye. And I have never seen anyone except Dan Marino who could deliver a ball faster from point A to point B than Michael Penix. And that's what I want a quarterback to do.
Well, yeah, I personally am not gonna get down into quarterbacks after we got to the top 3. What I'm gonna say is this: these top 3 picks, these first 3 teams that pick, everything can be on the table, but these 3 teams better come out of this pick with a quarterback, especially in New England.
Who was the number 1 quarterback? Hey, question: who was the number 1 quarterback picked last year, Christian?
It was
Bryce.
Oh God, what's his name? Not Bryce Young. Yes.
And how was he last year?
He had a terrible season in Carolina, and I think he's much better than he is. And I think Carolina did not help him at all.
And the next guy I picked was who?
C.J. Stroud, a stud.
And what kind of year did he have?
One of the best rookie years of all time.
And guess who was picked ahead of Peyton Manning? Ryan Leaf.
Yeah,
Ryan Leaf. Eli Manning.
Eli Manning.
Oh, right. Sorry. Ryan Leaf ahead of Eli. So, I mean, hello. I mean, it's. Let me just point this out. 30%.
Peyton Manning. You're right. That was Peyton Manning. You're right. It was
Right.
Peyton Manning.
30% of the first round draft picks don't make it out of their rookie contract.
Right.
I'm sorry, 70% of first round draft picks don't get to the second contract.
Yes.
It's it's a huge crapshoot. So you better be damn sure. And you know what's more important to me than overall athletic ability? And let's be honest, the most athletically gifted quarterback in the NFL is who?
Lamar Jackson. Yeah.
And how does he do every time it matters?
He crumbles under the pressure.
Sucks.
Yes.
He's horrible. Am I going for the most? A quarterback has to be a leader of men. Rocky knows something about this. I know something about this. Christian is learning a lot about this. To be a leader of men, you have to be a person of character and accountability, and you have to have certain traits. None of the quarterbacks at the top of this list this year have those traits, except for me, Michael Penix Jr. and Drake May. Those are the two guys. I am not interested in Bo Nix. I'm not interested in Caleb Williams. I'm not interested in JD Daniels because all of them have massive character flaws. And you can't call me racist because Bo Nix is.
I agree 100%. It's got nothing to do with that. It's been proven over time that there are athletes who just don't get it and they're going to get in trouble, and then there are athletes who just do get it and they stay out of trouble. And that's pretty much a character issue. Yeah. These character flaws show up early in college, sometimes in high school if you're Mike Vick's little brother. But I mean, and you have to consider them and lose 100% rally. I don't like Caleb Williams. I don't think he's going to be anybody's franchise quarterback. What I'm saying is these three teams with the top three picks better come out of this freaking draft with a quarterback, or heads are going to roll. They're going to.
So with that in mind,
who is the quarterback that attacked Brock Purdy as not being good enough to be in
Cam
NFL?
Newton?
Right. Do you remember what why Cam Newton dropped in the draft? Because he got arrested. Yes, and he was accused after he got the arrest. It came out that he had a bunch of questionable activities, including dropping trowel on a table in the cafeteria and waving his ding-a-ling around after a girl had basically told him, "Get your hands off me." So if people have, I'm sorry, if you are going to invest the amount of money that you have to, they better be as squeaky clean as Derek Carr or say, the guy who just won the Super Bowl again. What's his name?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes ever been in trouble?
Nope.
Patrick Mahomes ever quit on anybody?
Nope. These
Patrick
guys.
Mahomes. You know
no
what?
one is quit. Yeah.
When Patrick Mahomes receivers don't make an easy catch, he blames himself. I should have thrown that a little bit better. Maybe I let him too much.
Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Aikman.
They all have one. They all have one similar characteristic. They're all leaders. Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. That's what youth sports is supposed to do, is to teach these young men to be people of character. But it doesn't work when they're making more money out of high school than most professional athletes.
Quick question: yes. Kansas City Chiefs, Chris Jones, and they also have the cornerback
L'Jarius Sneed.
Can they sign both of them, Christian, or are they going to have to make a choice?
So Chris Jones is most likely out of the table. They have $27 million right now. They're going to franchise tag one of them. They are not going to be able to have both unless they move around some money, and a lot of that money is going to come out of
One of the smartest moves anybody in the AFC West could make is throw $250 million at Chris Jones.
Yeah,
just
Chris
to
Jones,
take him away from Kansas City.
He's going to have a good payday coming ahead of him. L'Jarius Sneed is most likely the one coming off the oh my God, the franchise tag.
Right.
He's gonna get franchise tag for around $19 million for a year, and
Oh, damn it.
They're probably going to work on an extension from there. Chris Jones is most likely going to walk from the Kansas City Chiefs and get a good figure deal, close to $145 million
You know who
for
should
the next 3
sign
years.
Chris Jones? The Chicago Bears. How perfect would Chris Jones look in a freaking Chicago Bears uniform? I mean, I think that is like the natural place for him to be.
In my opinion, I think the best place Chris Jones is going to go is the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
A leadership role, a man who's already been there, going to a team that's on the rise. I think Chris Jones to the Houston Texans. Rocky, your opinions on Chris Jones going anywhere?
Yeah, I think Chris Jones is going to be the biggest wild card this coming year. We don't know what. By the way, there are about 6 veteran running backs. Next week, we'll go over the running backs, huh? I mean, look at the running backs that are up at free agency, man. Chris Jones is just the tip of the iceberg. There's
going to be a lot of interesting stuff going on. But
and he's the biggest free agent coming up.
As a guy who used to be a Raiders fan, I would love to see Chris Jones get taken away from the Chiefs. That will be the iceberg that sinks the Titanic that is the Chiefs if he leaves.
Yeah, get some of them guys out of there. I agree.
Love that.
That would be huge.
And maybe Patrick Mahomes can get food poisoning. All right.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. This is Steer the Line. We'll see you next Friday where we continue our NFL draft analysis.
By the way, the count of Derek Carr mentions on this show was 2.
Okay, we still have a couple minutes, right?
We got about 10 seconds left.
Okay.
Everyone, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye. Go Raiders, go Rams, go football.
Running backs next week, running backs.